everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've stopped by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do our third set of alternatives for the August 2025 paper pumpkin kit called Farmhouse Florals. And here are the 9 cards that you could have made had you done them as intended. And as you know, around here we don't do as intended, so we're going to step ours up just a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first card that we're going to do today, I've got a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I've gone ahead and cut a 1/2 inch slit on each side. So from the bottom of on the front of the card base, from the bottom right up to the crease on each side. So we've kind of got these wings over here. So we are going to take, I have a couple pieces of this patterned paper. This came from the, let me tell you which one this was. This was from the Floral Charm pattern paper. So I just took a couple of pieces that are, I guess my things here are 1 inch wide. I misspoke. So these are 1 inch on each side. So our pattern paper is 1 inch by 4 1/4, and we are going to put that down on each side of our front card flap here. So we're just going to put some tape runner on these, and this paper does have a slight direction to it, so I'm going to make sure I have the flowers going right side up, and I'm going to just put that right up against the crease there in the middle, and this one we're going to put over on this side, and then we're going to check here in a second to make sure these pieces might just be, see, they're just a tad too long. So I'm going to take my scissors here and just kind of trim this off so that they are flush with the bottom of the card. Okay, so that took care of that. Now, we're going to glue these down because we don't want them flopping all over the place. So I'm just going to put some tape runner down each side of these, and we'll go ahead and just close them. Okay, so that leaves our flap of our card here. So on the front, I've got a piece of, this was one of the card bases that I cut down into this square that is 3.5 by 4 1/4, and we're going to put it on the front. But before we do, I want to do a little stamping here on our little piece of paper that's in the typewriter. I'm going to use Timid Tiger ink today for this one. And in here, we're going to put, let's see, I have some stamps blocked up here. Let me figure out what we want to use for this one. Oh, hang on, I've got some over here. Let's see. All right, so I think I want to put this in the middle here. So let me get a block. And this is one of the ones that was in the stamp set, and it says "Forever Your Friend." So we are going to put this on a block. It wants to stick to my finger because it's new. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. I don't think I've used this one yet, so I'm going to go ahead and season this by just rubbing it across my hand, which kind of takes any of the film that might be left on there from the manufacturing process. If you get that off, it gives you a much cleaner, crisper stamped image. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. Okay, and then I'm going to see if I'm gonna line this up here and see if we can get this right here in the middle of our typewriter paper. And just like that. Forever your friend. Oh, it's very cute. Okay. Then on the inside, for the inside, I've got a piece of paper, piece of cardstock that's also 3.5 by 4.25. And on the inside, we're going to put this phrase here that says, "Good friends are hard to find. I'm so glad we found each other." So we're going to put that on this one. So let me get this on a block. And again, I haven't used this one, I don't think, but if I have, it doesn't hurt to try to season it again, just in case. And we'll ink this one up. And I'm going to line this up on my glass mat so it starts out as straight as possible. I'm just going to go down, hold that for just a second, and there we go. All right, I'll put our ink away. Perfect. Okay, so we can get this on the inside of our card. And we'll put it right down in here. Okay, and then we've got our flap. So we'll put this down on the front. And the only thing that's going to be left is going to be some bling. So let me get this down there. Perfect. Okay, how cute is that? Okay, the bling I'm going to use here is some of these. These were in a previous paper pumpkin kit that we had not too long ago. I don't remember which one, but these are kind of gold, and I thought they would look good as centers in our timid tiger colored flowers here. So we'll do one there. Let's see. We'll put one here. And there's our 3. How cute is that? And so simple and doesn't take long at all. So, okay, let's move on to our second one. So, let's see here. Let me get our stamps off of these blocks so we can use them for our next one. Okay, for this one, we've got a piece of basic beige here that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. We're going to give this one a nice burnish. Now, I've got a piece of wood grain that came from, I think it's the Country Woods paper pack. Such a nice dark brown. And this is 4 by 5.25. We're going to put that as our first layer down on our card base. So let's go ahead and get this down. Let's see here. Trying to decide, do we want the dark? I'm going to put the darkest piece, this dark part here at the bottom, just because it seems like it's heavier and should be at the bottom of the page. Okay, so there's that. Now, another piece of the punch out that was in the card kit, just this lovely little country window scene here, and we're going to put that right here in the middle. I think I want to put it up on some dimensionals, so we are going to start to use up the sides of our dimensionals here, because, you know, you pay for the whole thing, you might as well use it all, right? And there's not a darn thing wrong with the edges. So, we're going to use these. And we'll just get these around the outside here. Oop. Okay, well that one we missed the card. We don't want it hanging over, so let's go this way with it up the side. Okay. What else we got here? And we've got our, put another little piece here, and we'll put a couple in the middle. Keep our middle from sagging. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me get the backs off of these, and we'll get this put down on the front of our card. And then we will do some stamping, because we've got to stamp a little sentiment piece for the front, and the inside then. Okay. One more, I think. I got them all. Okay. So we're going to put that right down here in the middle. Centered. As good as possible. Okay. Now, we've got our piece for the inside, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And I've got one of these tiny little sentiment pieces that we're going to stamp on for the front. And I've got a little bit of our linen thread left that we used a couple of days ago. So we're going to tie another bow with some of this that's left, if not all of it. And that way we can say we used it up. I'm going to stamp with Early Espresso. So this dark brown is going to really go with our, you know, country scene there. So we're going to do on the front tiny little stamp that says, let's see, it says just a note. So we're going to put that on our little piece here. So let me ink it up, and we will just, all right, I seem to have ink everywhere, so let me just wipe that off and let's start again. Let's ink that again, so maybe I won't have so much extra ink on it. Okay, so we're going to go just down here. Okay, so just a note's going to go on the front, and then on the inside, there's another little tiny stamp that says to say. So that's going to be the next thing I stamp. Okay, I don't think we've used this one, so let me season it real quick. And we're just going to do, I keep getting ink on my block. Let me just wipe that off because I don't want to get it everywhere. So we're going to do to say here in the middle. And then last thing is going to say you are loved. So we're going to put this one on a block. I feel like I have a lot of static cling. They keep wanting to cling to me. Okay, so let's ink this up, and we're just going to put this right under our to say. There you go. Perfect. All right, let's get our ink put away. I don't want any ink disasters today. I'm going to put this on the inside. And we'll get that put down here. It looks like I got just a little smudge of ink. So let me see if I can get that off real quick here. Somewhere I've got my sand eraser. Here it is. Let me just see if I can just get that off of there. There you go. Gone. If you don't have a sand eraser in your craft room, you really need one because it really comes in handy. Amazon. It's not that expensive. Okay, now let's take our little sentiment strip here, and I'm going to tie a bow. I want to put it through our little end here. And maybe we won't do a bow. Maybe we'll just do a knot. Let's see. We could save some of this. We can put maybe on another card. So let me just snip this off. Okay. We'll hang on to that. I'm just going to tie this in basically a knot. And we'll make it very rustic. Because this whole scene here reminds me of rustic. Okay, I'm going to double knot it so it doesn't come undone. And there we go. Okay, now I'm going to put our little thing down here. Let's see, where should we put this? Let's see, maybe just right down here at the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to use some, liquid glue actually. Just going to put just a little bit of glue down here. And we will go ahead and just put this right down here at the bottom. Right below our little shelf there. And that, we need some bling. I've got some more of our antique pearls. So I think they just go so well with this scene here. So let's get a few of those put on here. Let's see. Where, oh where is always the question, right? I'll put one right there. And put a little one here. And another little one we will put over here. And there we go. So cute. These cards come together so quickly when you have these nice, pretty, you know, big focal points, focal pieces, that's what I'm trying to say there, that take up, you know, a lot of your card. They do most of the work for you. So, okay, that's what we've got for today. So go ahead and make sure you hit that like and subscribe and ring that notification bell. And hey, share the video out if you have anybody you'd like to share it with. I'd really like to try to grow this channel, and I can't do that without your help. So I appreciate everything that you guys do, and we're going to keep moving along with our alternatives here. So stay tuned. I'll be back in a day or so with our next set. Have a crafty day. Bye.